What's up everyone, how's it going? So today we have some awesome news for Star Wars Battlefront 2 that just came out about an hour ago. So this is the new huge community transmission that Ben Walk and the other Battlefront team have been hyping up for so long, and honestly it is some great news. So let's jump right into it. So first off, it shows a picture from a while back. Now some of you, actually probably a lot of you, probably recognize this picture. This is the picture that came out and then the whole Droideka fiasco, because there was a model of a Droideka in it, so everyone thought that was them confirming Droidekas for the update. It was a huge mess because they said it was a crash speeder and then environmental clutter. Like I said, you've probably already known about this, but it's funny how they use this picture again, because the title of this month's update as well as this community transmission is Where Are Those Droidekas? So there you go, Droidekas are coming to Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it goes into a lot more detail later. So let's run through this community transmission, then I'll just give my overall thoughts on it. So it starts off by saying, incoming transmission. It says, it was around this time last year when we first announced Star Wars Battlefront 2 to be heading into the Clone Wars. We've since been to Geonosis, new reinforcements, and heroes have joined the ranks, and the war between the Republic and Separatists continues to rage across the galaxy in capital supremacy. And then it ends off there saying the Clone Wars doesn't end here, starting this month on June 26th to be precise. So there you go, that's the release date for this month's update. We have more Clone Wars content coming to Star Wars Battlefront 2 as a part of the Where Are Those Droidekas update. So it first talks about the new capital supremacy map, Naboo. We already knew about that, so I'm not going to waste your guys' time and spend a whole lot of time talking about it. Basically, it's the same Naboo map that we see on Galactic Assault, but it is set at dusk, which is really cool because I love that variation of Naboo. Also, one more thing you might want to know, it is in the city streets, so unfortunately we probably most likely will not be able to go in the buildings, which kind of sucks, but you know, whatever. Because we are getting Droidekas, and that's where the next segment talks about. It says Droideka. New reinforcements. It says if there is one reinforcement that we know is high on our community's wish list, it's the Droideka. Of course, we have a bit of history with these, and while we won't focus on the past, let's just say that your passion and enthusiasm for these rollies was not missed. So I'm glad that they're talking about their mistake, but I am glad they finally fulfilled it and that we are getting Droidekas. It says one of the most feared droids finally joins the Separatist army, wielding twin blaster and personal deflector shield generators, making them a formidable foe for anyone that faces off against them in combat. It says destructive weaponry and a powerful shield aren't their only characteristics, as their ability to transform and swiftly relocate has been synonymous with them. And then it shows a quick little gif of the Droideka in action, and it looks really cool. The animations look spot on, and so does the shield, so I'm super happy to see that. So now it talks about the actual aspects of the Droideka, which is his primary weapon, which is obviously his twin blaster cannons. It says short range, heavy weapons that deal significant damage to those unfortunate enough to find themselves caught in their crossfire. It says the Droideka can maintain full control of the blasters regardless of whether they're stationary or they are advancing upon their target. And then it finally says don't let them get near. So yeah, it sounds like these Droidekas are going to be pretty powerful. If you remember in the original Battlefront games, the Droidekas were the most overpowered thing in that game because they could shoot through their shields and their shields just lasted forever, and they just had so much health points. So yeah, I'm sure they're going to be pretty powerful in this game as well. So now it talks about all of its abilities, and obviously he does have his will form so he can start rolling around like he does. So basically you use this ability and then you fold into your little ball form and then you can roll around. It doesn't say whether it has a cooldown or not, so like how long it takes to be able to activate this again or not, or if there's a time limit on how long you can roll around, which I hope there's not. I hope you can just roll around forever, and then that leaves you pretty vulnerable, so I think it'd be pretty balanced. But then his next form is called Overload, and it says sharing the ability with its fellow enforcers like the B2 battle droid. It says the Droideka can overload its primary blasters. The cannons are instantly cooled and for a short period of time. The Droidekas can fire its blaster cannons with increased rate of fire. So like I said, a lot like the B2 Super Battle Droid, which is pretty awesome to see. Then finally, its third ability, which is pretty obvious, it's its energy shield that you see in all the movies. It says this shield acts as a secondary health pool for the Droideka, and it actually says that you can shoot out of it from it, so you can use your shield and have a lot more health while shooting from it, so a lot like the original games as well as the movies. I think that's going to be pretty powerful, so we'll have to see the balancing there when they do get released. And then finally, it's kind of funny, it says, rolling onto the Battlefront this month on June 26th, we will have answered the question you've all been asking, where are those Droidekas? So yeah, the Droidekas are finally coming, and honestly, I'm so surprised. I did say in a few videos that I just didn't think they would be coming, but luckily I was proven wrong because DICE really surprised me with this one. So next up that it talks about is a new reinforcement slash vehicle. This one, honestly, in my opinion, surprised me more than the Droidekas, and this is the TX-130. Now, why is this so surprising to me? Well, one, they're making it reinforcement even though it's a vehicle, so I wonder if you can like hop out of it and then jump back in. We're not too sure right now, but it's just weird because this is not a canon vehicle, at least until it gets into Battlefront 2, because it was featured in the original Battlefront games as well as the Clone Wars game from like 2005. But after that, it hasn't been canon at all, so it's really great to see that this is now in canon and that DICE is allowed to take things from Legends or from other games and stuff and add them in and make them canon. But it kind of makes sense to be countered with the Droideka because it rolls around as well as the Droideka, it kind of drives around. But then it says, not to be outshined by the Separatists, the Galactic Republic will also be receiving a new reinforcement in the form of the TX-130 Saber class fighting tank. It says the TX-130 will provide the Galactic Republic with an armored fighting vehicle that is both quick and defensive. It says the speed allows the TX-130 to enter into battle, deal damage, and then make its escape, which is a great balance between agility and power. So then it shows another GIF of it, which is in work in progress. It's not 100% detailed, but it's looking really great. I do hope they make the lasers blue like they were in the Battlefront games, and I think in the Clone Wars game as well. But like I said, this is a work in progress, but it looks really awesome. I'm excited to drive this around. But then it talks about its abilities, and it says its primary weapons is obviously his laser cannons. And then his next ability is a laser barrage, which you probably know from the other speeders and all that. I believe they have them on the Stab Speeder, the Bark Speeder, as well as the normal speeder bike. But then it talks about its second ability, which I'm really excited about, and that is its rocket feature. So it says, rockets fire in an alternate fashion from pods on each side of the TX-130. It says the rockets are dumb-fired, meaning they do not lock onto enemies and fire in the direction you aim them, like the AATs. It says when firing the rockets, you have the ability to fire them one at a time, or you can charge them up, and when charged by holding the fire button. The TX-130 would unleash all of the rockets in a quick momentum, which is pretty cool ability. I kind of like how they're shot like dumb-fired, kind of like the Hellfire tank in the movies as well as the old games. They just kind of shoot around, start flying around or something, so it's kind of cool to see that. So then it talks about its third ability, and this is called Charge Mode, and it says activating this ability will toggle the primary fire in Charge Mode. It says while in Charge Mode, the TX-130 will gain the ability to charge up a massive charged bolt that fires simultaneously from both the left and the right turrets. It says, at the expense of some maneuverability, it says the charge mode is the perfect ability to use when facing a slow moving target. So I think this is the same ability as on the AAT, where it just shoots both turrets at once. But I am really excited for the TX-130. Like I said, it really did surprise me that they added this simply because it wasn't canon. But it looks like it is officially now canon because Battlefront 2, according to Disney, is a canon game. So then it talks about new appearances, and finally we are getting the General Skywalker skin like everyone's been asking. So now both Obi-Wan and Anakin have the skin, so it's going to look really cool if Obi-Wan and Anakin are playing at the same time while both wearing their General skin. And then we're getting another clone skin, which is the 212th Recon Division, and it is actually using the Phase 1 ARF Trooper armor, which is really cool. And then it shows a picture of its helmet, so this was from the Clone Wars, so I'm really glad to see them include this, because the helmet just looks a little bit different from all the others, a lot like the 41st skin, which is the next skin that we're getting. And this is Yoda skin that you probably saw in Revenge of the Sith, and it looks really cool. It's using the camouflage, and this is the guys that were fighting on Kashyyyk in Revenge of the Sith, and they look really cool. Again, it shows another work in progress image of it, so they look really good. But finally, on this community transmission, it says a little further ahead, and it says we've talked a bit about capital supremacy over the last few months. It says that the feedback we've received has been hugely valuable, as has all the discussion around the game modes in general. It says, as we move through the summer, we plan to add new ways to play epic battles for players who want something besides traditional PvP. It says we'll have more to share on this later in the year. So I'm not really sure what it's talking about there. Maybe someone in the comments can help. I'm kind of confused on what they're meaning by that. But finally, it talks about a new map that we are going to be getting for Star Wars Battlefront 2, a new planet. This new planet is going to be Felucia, which is really awesome. I'm super surprised that they are adding this. I was thinking maybe Utapau or even Coruscant for a different planet, but Felucia is such a cool looking planet, so I'm excited to see how it looks under the Frostbite engine. It says the colorful jungle world of Felucia will be arriving later in 2019 and is being built for capital supremacy. It says, we cannot wait to take one of the most iconic planets of the Clone Wars and bring it into the game, and yeah, I cannot wait either. And it says, before we get to all that, in July, we'll feature a month of weekly community quests themed around your favorite Clone Wars heroes and villains that will unlock new animated poses and voiceover lines for these characters. And then finally, to end it off, it shows a concept art picture of Felucia, and it looks great. I love the colors on it. Some people said that the clone trooper on the right was the Purple Legion. I can't remember the actual number for it, but I believe it was Mace Windu's Legion, and I kind of see the purple too, so maybe they are going to include these guys as well in a later update. But overall, I'm super excited for this. I just can't think of what my favorite part about this. I mean, the Droidekas, the TX-130, or Felucia coming in the fall, which is confirmed. It is coming in the fall of this year. That was on the updated roadmap if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, there's just so much we could go over, and if we went over everything in depth, this would be like a 30-minute video just because they have announced so much stuff. But this month is going to be great, as Ben Walk said on that podcast. I am still shocked that they were able to pull off the Droidekas. Everyone was saying they're not coming because they would just be too hard to make. There's too many resources. Even some of the developers have said they're just too hard to make and telling us they're not coming and how sorry they are. But obviously they're saying that only to surprise us this month with the Droidekas. But that is pretty much all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did make it this far, go ahead and comment like hello there or something. But also comment down below the thing that you're most excited for. I'm curious to see. I know some people really want that TX-130 as well as the Droideka, but some people might really be more excited for Felucia. I cannot tell which one I'm more excited for. But yeah, we are getting Clone Wars content until it looks like the end of this year, which is great news. Hopefully we see Ahsoka get announced or something soon, because she is being worked on according to some_info. But yeah, thank you again for those who did watch till the end, and thank you to those who just watched in general. And if you did enjoy, be sure and leave a like on the video. It really helps that out a lot. And if you're new, subscribe for more Star Wars news, gameplay, and more. And I will hopefully see you in the next one.